Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Catwoman. This is the Batman Knightfall version of Catwoman, one of my particular favorite looks for the character, and I was very excited when they announced this, and it didn't look immediately like absolute garbage, like the Arkham City? Was it Arkham City? That disproportionate disaster with a giant ass. This one looked to be a much better figure, and I have good news, it is much better than that. It might be the best Catwoman figure they've released. Have they released more than the two? I don't think they have. Maybe they have. It's okay. There's a lot going on here that's good. Actually, there's some that's good. There's a few things that's good, and then there are a few things that are bad. And most things are bad. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get it off the stand and take a cloak. This figure stands, including the heels, just about 17.5 centimeters. That's gonna make it roughly, let's just call it 6 7/8 inches here. She is up against Darwin. She could kiss him on the forehead and he would have to sniff the very bottom of her hair if he wanted to. So she's a little bit taller, maybe 1.1 Darwin's. And here she is up against, just because I have him here, the Hush Batman. And that's actually much better scaling than we've seen in most of the McFarlane figures. So I think that's pretty good. I'll take it. Okay, question of the day. Which version of Catwoman, not movie related, just comics, and not story-wise, just character design, which version of Catwoman is your favorite? I do quite like the purple jumpsuit with the patent leather gloves and things. I think it's kind of cool. Simple, and I think that's enough. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetic on this figure. I'll take the purple. It's not quite the right purple from what I've seen of this suit, but maybe it is. It's okay. I do love that they did the patent leather, the shiny semi-gloss on the black. That really makes the figure pop. That's awesome. I think they went a bit overboard with the hair. Instead of being blue highlights, it's mostly like black lowlights. There's a lot of blue on there, and it's a bit much. It's really, really blue. She should come with a Tumblr account, I think. The head, it's not great. It's really, really not great. She looks upset to be an action figure. And the skin tone is really yellow. It's not good. The eyes are painted well. The eyebrows are huge. And the mouth is okay. It's very unflattering, this look. And she's almost always drawn to be very attractive, like as attractive as someone can get. That's how they draw Catwoman, always. She's a very sultry character, and she looks like someone who could be sultry all the time and nobody would mind. This doesn't look like that. This looks like somebody in cosplay again. Why is it so hard for these companies to make figures that look like the source material? Aside from that, it's just not painted well. It's yellow, like her skin tone is so yellow, it's weird. And then her sculpt. She looks dead. Is she dead? What's happening? It's bad. It's bad. Okay, let's talk about the rest of the sculpt real quick before we move on. This is kind of an articulation thing, but the way they cut up the torso, she lost all of her shape. She has no shape. Basically no hourglass figure at all. This part comes down way too low. This part goes up way too high. This part is cut not well. It doesn't accentuate the sculpt at all. It almost gives her like a, it looks like what Batman's missing here, she picked up there. It's a little bit strange. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's not great, okay? The boobages are sculpted kind of weird, honestly. They don't seem to flow naturally into the shape of her body. They just kind of look like there's something stuffed underneath her outfit. Very weird. Doesn't look great. We're gonna do a cake rating right off the bat. I know you guys came for the cake. It's not bad. I'll give her a 7. It's okay. The way they put the wrinkles all the way up there toward the top of the butt is pretty weird, like where the material is stretching, because the material would stretch at the apex of the curve. I mean, more or less, and that's not what's happened. And also the way they shaped this piece, it's to kind of like match the shape of the gluteus maximus, the way it inserts into the leg. It's too far over, so it makes it look like she has a saggy ass rather than a well-defined toned butt. So it's not great, it's not horrible, it's not great. Then the last thing we have to talk about is the way they sculpted her thighs, her quads. It looks like her legs are broken. I don't know if it's gonna show properly on camera because of the semi-gloss, but they gave her a very big muscle right here and then none on this side at all. So it just looks like somebody hit her with a pipe and just broke her legs in. Very, very strange looking in person, and I don't know. I think you can see the weird curve going on that is a little bit weird. So this figure's close to good and then so far at the same time. So the best thing I can say about this is it is proportioned relatively well, so I like that. And I'll give it an overall rating of a generous 6 out of 10. So many problems. So many problems. Weird. Okay. Now as far as accessories go, oh, McFarlane toys. Well, we'll get to that actually. The hands, we have 2 gripping hands and Commander in the package, then 2 open hands. I like those. The open hands in particular are very nice. I like that they put the long like claws on there. They're not quite claws, but they're kind of like claws, so that's okay. We did get a whip, which is like twice as big as it should be. The handle is as big as her entire forearm and thicker than her wrist. The handle of the whip is freaking huge for her hand. Do they oversize their weapons, their accessories on purpose? This is absurd. And not only is the handle so big, the thing is freakishly long. I can't even show you how long it is. I'll set it down back there so you can see the whole thing. And I'll put the figure here so you can see. It is roughly 2.5 times as long as the entire figure's body. For the figure's entire body. That is... It's so long. If she had to wind that up, let's do it. Let's just do it. We're gonna have some fun here. She had to coil this up like someone does have to do with a whip and keep it on their person. It would be incredibly inconvenient to have this. It's basically like carrying around a small tire. It's huge. Whatever. Okay, and then we get our trading card, collector card, whatever card that doesn't match the figure. It shows you what the figure should look like, but doesn't. Very unfortunate. And then you get her DC display stand, which is just lovely, wonderful piece of black plastic. 3 out of 10 for accessories. I like the hands. The rest is garbage. Okay, as far as articulation goes, we do have a ball peg in the head, but it doesn't really do that much. It's okay. It leans side to side. You can look down a little bit, but just a little bit. Looking up. She can look up. The hair flex is enough. I'll take that. It's okay. Then, of course, you get your rotation. So it's not bad. The hair, I'm not in love with the way they sculpted the hair to poof out so wide, so fast like that. It's a little weird looking. So the head's okay. It doesn't work wonderfully. The neck has no articulation, just the head. Shoulders don't have any move around on that ball peg at all. That cap, the whole system that they do is such a waste of time. It provides nothing on most of their figures. There's no extra range. On the standard hinge, you get up to horizontal, so that's okay. Full rotation, that's fine. Bicep swivel is hidden nicely, and it is there, so that's good. Double jointed elbow, I like that, no problem there. Ball hinge wrists, I like that. They work wonderfully, no problem there. Diaphragm joints with these weird sculpted parts that don't look right. She can lean back a little bit. I'll take that. Leaning forward, basically not at all. And then leaning to the side, it's okay. It's not great. You do get rotation up there. Now on this lower torso joint, let's see. She leans back even farther, so she can lean back. I'll take that. Leaning forward. Why can't the figures lean forward with this company? And then it does lean side to side a little bit, so that'll be okay, and then you do get more rotation. So it's okay, but she still can't lean forward. Or the hips. Going out to the side works pretty well. It's gonna smash her diaper because they bring the diaper down way too low, and it gives her a very dangly sort of situation going on right there. I'm not gonna comment on it any more than that. But you can see right here how awkwardly low this is and high. They need to make their diapers way smaller. Weird. Going forward, she does kick fairly high, so I'll take that. And the way they did the butt flap back here, it does connect to the sculpt pretty nicely when she's kicking. So I'll say that's okay. That's not bad. Going back, that's a bit of a problem. You see how it becomes a problem when you have this curve right here too far toward the center. It should be farther out. It would impede the articulation less, and you could still achieve this with it out to the side more. So it's fine though. It's okay. Thigh swivel, basically non-existent. There's just a touch in there. You would think there'd be one here. Mine are completely stuck if there is supposed to be a swivel there. I don't think there is. Double jointed knee on this figure. Not too bad. It works nicely. Proportioning is decent enough. Then the ankles. We have our ball hinge ankles, which make this figure almost impossible to stand just because it's got such heavy ratchets that you can't find the sweet spot when you need to. And especially with a figure like this with heels and such a tiny little foot, that becomes very, very tedious. She does have a toe hinge, which is, again, mostly useless, but it's sculpted well enough and in the right spot, so it's okay. So, final verdict on the articulation. It's there, but it doesn't work in most, or at least in the torso. It's not great. The arms and legs are fine. The ankles are still iffy. I'll give it a 7. If they can't lean forward, I'm just done. I'm tired of it. Why can't they make the figures lean forward? It doesn't make any sense. Why can't they reduce the ratcheting on the ankles? It's impossible to stand the McFarlane figures, even with their goofy-ass display stands. They're so tedious and annoying to stand up. Okay, time for the final verdict on this figure. It's better looking than most McFarlane figures. That's not enough. They need to fix the problems they have with their design team. The way they cut joints, the way they do the torsos, the way their paints are all over the place. Why is her skin yellow? Why is her face sculpted like that? She doesn't look anything like the source material. It's just... Is it just incompetence? From the sculpt up to the paint, up to the person in charge, the project manager? Where's the incompetence? It's everywhere, it seems. It's so weird. Okay, final verdict on this release, 6 out of 10. I guess you could be generous and say 7. I'll say 7, just because I'm feeling extra generous. Compared to other McFarlane figures, this one can have a 7. But there's so much wrong with it that doesn't need to be. It's very disappointing that we've got a company who apparently really likes to make DC figures, especially Batman-related figures. That should be, and also they're not some new company. They've been around forever. They know what they should know what they're doing. This should be a Batman fan's dream, and they're just making figure after figure. They're releasing more figures than Hasbro at this point, it seems, and most of them aren't very good, and the good ones are just like barely. It's so strange. So let me know what you guys think about the figure in the comment section below. And thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up and let me know what you thought about the video. And if you didn't like it, you can give it a thumbs down too. That's okay. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.